big Browns
Victory
win.
Monday. We have a half a pitcher. Is there some symbolism that the glass is only half full?
Nah, it's all the way full in spirit.
Oh,
Anthony just didn't have a lot of time to make it.
10:59.
Anthony just said, no, I was just running late.
That's enough.
That's all the Kool-Aid we could fit in the jar right now.
That's it right
Hey,
now.
I don't care if it's half full or not. 8-5. You're sitting in a nice, comfortable playoff spot, as comfortable as it can be, with 5 teams behind you at 7-6. That's nuts. This is a crazy NFL playoff season.
I think it's 16.
It's 6 at 7-5.
It goes down to 11. You're right. 11. Think of that. There's 16 teams in the division. 11 of them are 7-6 or better.
Buffalo, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Houston, Denver, all 7-6.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Cincinnati's currently in the 10. Buffalo's in the 11. If you would have said coming into the season that those two teams, which were widely considered front runners, would be right now on the outside looking in and at 10 and 11, you wouldn't believe it. But a lot to get to today. First and foremost, a huge win. Let's do our shotgun intros. We'll start down with Bull.
It was a great victory for the Browns. There's always complaints that people have after every win, which is, we've gotten to the point now where there are people complaining about the win not being dominant enough or whatever.
We're nitpicking.
Yeah, it's crazy. The bottom line is Trevor Lawrence played. He didn't play a great game, but it wasn't because of the ankle. There's no way he had a high ankle sprain because he looked physically fine.
Well, he never ran, though. He only left the pocket
he did.
twice.
Well,
he
ran a couple
ran
of times.
twice past the line of scrimmage.
I know,
He was
but
running around. I
was
thought he
moving.
was
I never saw that burst that I'm willing to run.
I don't know. He ran a couple of times, maybe not as much, whatever, but he looked like he was nobody's 100% this time of year. You got a million backup quarterbacks going. He was fine. The Browns played really well defensively. The Jaguars didn't score have a touchdown drive of more than 25 yards until the fourth quarter when the Browns had kind of, put things under control, even though it got nerve-wracking at the end. And isn't it poetic that the game essentially ends yesterday with Joe Flacco getting a win in Cleveland? And the last time Joe Flacco got a win in Cleveland, it was because the Jets got an onside kick. And in this game, his next win in Cleveland is when the Browns recovered an onside kick to not allow Jacksonville to get the ball. Flacco was very, very good in this game. The passing game leading the way because the Browns' once vaunted running game, it sucks.
Yeah, I'll agree on that one. You ain't gonna catch me on this one. I told Mike behind the glass on the 2-minute warning. I said, "This is terrible. I got to go up there and see these other two jokers up there tell me about the run game. This is horrible."
Argue that it doesn't suck. You know I am, because there's one running back that's running it very well. He's just not touching it enough.
Can't get no tape.
We got plenty of time for that. Jay, your instant reaction.
We're going to talk a lot about Joe Flacco today, but I just want to take a minute and tell you why I love the Flacco story so much. And it really sort of taught me a lesson in all of this because he didn't retire. He wasn't asked to come back. And so I think this really means something to him because he got thrown out of the club before he was ready. And so he said yesterday, like, listen, I'm not great with words, but like this is very meaningful to me because he's getting the walk up 18 now that he didn't get before. He didn't get a watch. He didn't get a cake. He was told you're not good enough. And that's just not true. And too many times when guys are out of the league, I've made the comment of, well, they're out for a reason, and that's not necessarily true. And I'm still going to stand by Kareem's on 3 wheels, but he has been a contributor to this team. He's filled a role, a very important, necessary role to this team. He's not the Kareem Hunt of the Kansas City days and even the early Cleveland days, and that's the point I was trying to make with that. And that's still true, but he's still holding a valuable role to this team, and now Flacco is as well. The touchdown leader, and Joe's going to wind up leading this team in passing, by the way. He's about 600 yards to go. So the leading passer and the leading scorer in touchdowns both started the season on their couch. And they were given another opportunity, taking full advantage of it. So it's cool to see guys like that thought that their careers were over, get an opportunity to come back and get another run. And the Browns, it doesn't matter who's on the field, they always believe that they have enough. And that's an important culture tone that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski set this year of, they made the comment like Ronnie Hickman is a rookie and Cam Mitchell's a rookie. And Kevin said, we don't have any rookies anymore. Like, it is week 14. Yeah. There's no such thing as a rookie. And if you're next man up, you're expected to perform and produce. And this is why that they're there, because of all the injuries. And they keep finding guys like Flacco, Kareem Hunt, Cam Mitchell, Ronnie Hickman, and they keep performing.
And by the way, when's the last time the Browns had a team that next man up actually worked?
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It's not just next man up. It's
Yeah.
next man up at the sport's biggest position.
Yep.
Also, I love the way you bundled Flacco and Hunt.
Yeah.
Because there are so many similarities in both these guys. You're right. They were told by 32 teams, not just to start the season, but a couple weeks into the season, and for Flacco, 2/3 of the way into the season, we're good. Stay home.
How do you think the Jets feel right now? Aaron Rodgers goes
No
down in
kidding.
week 1. They had him there last year.
Absolutely.
And they said, no, we're going to go with Zach Wilson.
Although he actually
and
played a really
Simeon.
good game
He
yesterday.
did.
He did, but
for the
at one
first
point,
time.
at one point, he's been benched.
He's terrible.
If they
Yesterday
called,
played great.
If they call Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, what's the Jets' record today?
Yeah,
Where are
good
they today?
question. What you got, G?
Well, first and foremost, man, shout out to Flaccavelli. Brrr. The bird calls are in the game. Yeah, Flaccavelli, I told you, 303 touchdowns. I had it on. I had it on the topics. You saw it on my headlines. You know exactly what it is. Hey, we'll get to Joe Flacco in a second. But by the way, listen, if we get over 1,000 likes, no, 2,000 likes, I'm gonna give this shirt away right here. King of the North.
The one you're wearing?
You gonna wash it or just
No,
box it?
sign this one and give it away.
Sign this one and give it away. That
Yeah,
means
I like
gotta
that
put-
idea.
I gotta put it in a bag, and they don't want my signature. Y'all just want your shirt.
No, it's G. Bush's shirt. Sign it and give it away.
We're not gonna sign this and give this away. We're gonna package it and give
G's
you a
like,
brand
I
new
need
one.
this one.
I am keeping this one. If you get 2,000 likes, I'm giving this away. And when it comes to the barbershop coming up later on at 3 o'clock, I'm gonna actually give away 2 more of these shirts. So go ahead, we can do that. But let's get back to this game. Listen, this has been so enjoyable for me because this makes me feel like I'm a kid again. So often that we got to a point where everything was boiled down to just the quarterbacks and boiled down to the lowest common denominator. Well, we forgot that in football, it's about 11 guys doing their job, all working on one accord, trying to work to a common goal. And at its core, that's what football is. And it just goes to show you that we hear so many times if Deshaun Watson is done, the Browns are done. Or if Josh Allen is done, they have no chance. The Cleveland Browns are showing you in real time, 4 different quarterbacks, that if you still got people that refuse to back down, refuse to say that we are finished and don't punt seasons, this is what can happen. Joe Flacco was on his couch, and there's something to be said about learning about your own mortality. The second you realize that nothing is guaranteed and you should cherish every single day. Joe Flacco keeps saying, I'm out here playing, and I feel like a 10-year-old kid. I feel like I'm out here just really like being out here, just being in the locker room with the guys, just being a dude that's part of something. And he said, I was watching these guys. Now I'm just thanking them for having me in. And the reality of it is, without him getting cut from the Jets, I don't think he plays like he does today. I think it's all wrapped into one thing, and it's a timeline that can only happen this way. This is a special team. This is a special time. And I want to tell everybody, lock in, because I don't think you're going to see this very often. Don't be a person that is missing what's happening on the field in a special place because you're worried about all the outside stuff. The Cleveland Browns are for real. The Kool-Aid is for real. They've already drank it multiple times, and they believe that this team can beat anybody that they play. And it just goes to show you that they don't quit, they don't fall off. It may not be perfect, it may not be cute, but this is the funnest I've ever had watching the Cleveland Browns in my 42 years because of the attitude and the spirit they got, because it shows you the sum of the parts can be better or bigger or more special than just one person.
Isn't part of the fun that it feels like they're playing with house money because there's been so many injuries?
Yeah.
That it's like, if they went to the playoffs and lost in the first round, like, you couldn't kill them. Look at what they've put up with to get here. On the other hand, you feel like they can just keep winning and winning. The Browns have the best strength of victory of any contender in the league.
Think about that, too. Let that marinate.
Yeah.
That's big. That's strength of schedule in college football. I think you're right about the house money thing, although I do have playoff expectations, and we can get to that later. I really, the only thing that I would add to what the three of you said, and I'm with you, this is the most fun I've had at least since the 20 season. I mean,
That season was very fun, too.
that season was fun because that was the turnaround season.
Yep.
That was the one that proved that actually there wasn't some sort of spiritual curse on the
Right.
city of Cleveland and the Browns and all of that, and that they could win and they could go to the playoffs. And a win over the Steelers in the playoffs. I mean, it's going to be hard to top that this year, but I think this team has the ability to do that. For me, We talked about, and you touched on the Flacco kind of sort of resurgence. We talked about when the Browns signed him about how sometimes a player views his career and his life once he thinks it's over. You and I talked about how when I was away from baseball for a number of years, I literally would have dreams of putting a uniform on again. I know you've told me you've had the same dreams where you're padding up and you can hear the ambiance in the locker room and you feel the excitement of the game building and getting ready to run out of the tunnel, and then you wake up. And that is a gut punch. It is the worst feeling you can have. Joe Flacco lived that every day for the 2023 season until his phone rang with Cleveland. I learned something this morning that I didn't know, and maybe you guys knew this. Ryan Clark this morning on Get Up mentioned that Joe Flacco auditioned for the Inside the NFL.
The Browns
I have the
hang
clip
30.
if you want to hear it.
Oh, you clipped that?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, okay.
Steve, take it full.
Play it. I didn't know that. It's the first I've heard this.
Take it full. Let's hear it.
One on Jacksonville, 3 touchdowns for
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. What are we seeing here, RC?
Well, I'll tell you a secret. Joe Flacco actually tried out and auditioned for Inside the NFL, which I host on Tuesday. I'm glad we didn't take him. Joe Flacco is absolutely throwing the skin off of the football. And the one thing
When I heard that, I said, wait a minute. Ryan Clark, you're burying the lead. He hasn't said that all year.
Right.
So for me, not that he couldn't have said, guys, I'm walking away, but he may have really liked his role. Inside the NFL, I think everybody would agree, was kind of that mandatory watch for NFL fans. He may have settled into that role and said, I really like this, and I don't want to tap out because if I tap out, I may not get this chair back.